Welcome back. This is part 4 of the Scenic Route Princess Album series, and we're doing the last 2 pages of the book. The next part of the video series will be the last part, and we'll cover the back cover and the front acrylic cover in that segment. So I'm just gluing all the paper down, trimming the edges, and inking the edges. So that's going to be the first step. I'm going to take my papers. This one's getting a lot of adhesive because it's going to be where the window is, and I want to make sure that it has adhesive on all the edges of the window. And now I'm trimming out the inside of that window. And then I'm going to adhere this last little inch of brown here. I'm going to trim it, and I'm going to use my hole punch and my precision file from Basic Gray to get those holes nice and smooth. And again, I always push down across the paper and chipboard when I use a file. I don't go back and forth. And there I'm just inking the rest of the edges. And notice that I didn't ink inside the window, and that's because I'm going to cover it up with something. I'm actually going to make a mini file folder, and I'm going to use that mini file folder to cover the window. And I'm going to put a photo mat on the back of the mini file folder. So through the window, all you'll see is a photo mat, and you won't know that it's a file folder. So what I've done is, on a slightly longer piece of cardstock, I have scored it 1/4 inch from the edge and burnished the score. And now I'm going to glue a slightly shorter piece of cardstock to the longer piece. And I'm burnishing to get it really tight. I'm using my finger to rub up the excess adhesive. The ATG adhesive rolls up really nicely. Right here I had a moment of panic where I thought I'd measured wrong, and so I'm just checking my measurements to make sure they're okay, and they are okay. Next, these are my actual photo mats. These are 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and I'm going to use them to put 3 by 4 inch photos in my mini book. And so I'm going to need 3 for this project. One is going to go on the front of the folder, and the front is the longest piece of the folder, so you could see that there was a bit of green border there. One's going to go on the inside of the folder. And then another is actually going to go on the back of the folder. And so here, actually, you're going to see me put the one on the front, and you will see where there will be about 1 inch of border left over, and we're going to use that to put a file tab. So that's the front there. There's a little bit extra on the front. So now I'm just lining it up so I know where to put it on the front. And I'm putting my adhesive down all around the window because I want to make sure that it does not move in that opening. And now I'm just to go the extra mile, I'm putting adhesive on the back of the file folder as well because I want to make sure that it doesn't move, since there's not going to be a huge amount of real estate where the folder is actually touching the chipboard base. So now I'm getting it stuck down. I'm using my bone folder to burnish it to make sure the adhesive is nice and tight. And now, again, I'm going to use my finger to rub up the extra adhesive. And this works really well with the tape that goes in the ATG. I don't know how well this technique would work on other adhesives, so you might want to try it before on something smaller. Now I have a tab punch from McGill, and I'm going to punch it twice. I'm going to punch it in the same brown that I used on the edge of the chipboard, and I'm also going to punch it in the same yellow with cream script that I used on this page. I'm going to use my scissors to cut it in half, this yellow piece, because I want to slightly offset it from the front so that it has a brown edge. So I'm going to glue it just to the front of the tab, and I'm going to glue it a little bit down and then trim the excess. And now I'm going to go and I'm getting 2 gold brads, and I'm going to use my 1/16 hole punch just to punch holes on the edges of the file folder, tab punch, where I can put those brads. Because I don't want them to go all the way through, I want them to show only on the front. I'm actually going to put them in it before I close it. And that way when it's closed, it won't show. And I had a little bit of brad that was sticking out there, so I cut it off with my scissors, and I do that all the time. It doesn't seem to hurt them, but if you really, really love your scissors and care about them, you might not want to try it because it is metal. And now I'm going to adhere it just to the center. I'm going to fold it over, and I'm going to burnish it again because I want it to be nice and tight and nice and strong, since I'm hoping this will be handled by a lot of people. And there I have it. So there's my mini file folder. And now I'm just going to embellish some more. I'm using a green border sticker from the same set that I had my pink border sticker. And I'm also going to add some Hero Arts gems. I have some light pink hearts here. I'm going to find the center first and put that heart down, and then I'm going to put hearts at the top and the bottom, and then I can put hearts in between those, and that helps me get my spacing really evenly without having to use a ruler. So now we're just going to do the second page, and the second page is going to be very similar. It's going to have the same configuration of paper with the brown strip, the yellow with cream handwriting strip, and then the striped piece as well. It's just going to go a little bit easier and a little bit faster since there's no window to cover. So just adhering all my papers down, and now I'm going to trim all the way around the edge and ink all the way around the edge. And the reason I didn't ink my papers before putting them down today is because I didn't want ink in the center. I just wanted ink around the edge. Using the last bit of that border sticker, and put the hearts down again. And again, I find the center, and then I do 2 edges, and then I do between those. And it's just much easier for me to space it that way. So I'm scoring my cardstock, and I'm folding it. And now I'm going to glue the other piece to it. And if you're wondering why I didn't just fold a piece of cardstock, it's because I wanted to use these scraps of green that I had from another project, and they weren't big enough. It would be much easier to just fold a larger piece of cardstock. So, if you're doing this, you don't have to do it this way. I only did it this way because I wanted to use this green, and the only pieces I had of this green were too small, so I had to glue them together. Alright, so I punched out the tab, and I also punched out the piece of yellow with cream handwriting, cut it in half, slightly offset it, and now I have trimmed the edge and am punching the holes for the brads and putting the brads in and cutting where their little prongs stick out. And now I'm going to glue it to the green file folder I've created. And then I'm going to glue it all down on the page. And now I have that. Next, I'm going to add 2 journaling spots to the inside of the file folders. So I just used 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch sheets of Scenic Route background paper, inked the edges, and am gluing them inside the folders. And that completes this page of the album and all the inside pages of the album. So stay tuned for the final part where I will do the back cover and the front cover. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy.